Daytona 500 is coming up pretty soon. Scott Riggs, one of the guys we got to watch. He's been around the tour since 2004. He's from Bahama, North Carolina, not down in the Bahamas where everybody seems to be rich and fishing or just laying around in the sun. Hard row he's hoed the last couple of years. Was with Ray Abraham's Dodge Bunch last year. Now he's back in Chevrolet, driving for Joe Custer and Gene Haas.
Then last year was probably the most pressure of having a team that was 20th in points the year before as a brand new team and then couldn't make it into the top 35. So coming here with an organization that's fairly young, with a brand new team last year that was able to stay in the top 35 is an accomplishment, and then having so many resources to lean back on and people that I believe in so much with Matt Mulhern and Bootie Barker and Jeremy being a part of that. This year I feel probably more relaxed and more confident because I feel like I can be a leader that I've always wanted to be.
Just having Jeremy,
I think that last year was probably the biggest year mentally for me to keep myself confident and focused. And so I think if I can go through what I went through last year, this year is going to be a lot easier.
And he's got Bootie Barker as his crew chief.
Well, luckily for us, because of the improvements we've made with people, with resources, and let's say with Hendrick, because we're going to be on the front side of it. Just like we were in the COT car at short tracks last year, it ran better there.
The COT at Daytona. It seems like it's a more rigid car, it bounces a whole lot more, and a little more difficult to drive. Is it going to be accentuate the guys that like off-road stuff, the guys that can handle wild race cars rather than the guys that like to do it nice and smoothly? Or what's your analysis of the 2 weeks you saw at Daytona?
See, Dave went to the first test. It was hotter, and it was a lot of what you're saying. But we took what he told us to do, went that direction, and our test wasn't quite as hot, so we didn't have those conditions. Our car handled pretty good. So we don't know right now whether it was the changes that we implemented or was it the conditions. That's right. We don't know either.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, to be able to predict the future, I guess, and what's going to happen next month.
Well, you go down there when we feel like it's the best, made improvements, and then hope your stuff bounces less than the rest of them.
Is it basically horsepower, since the car tomorrow is like one basic aerodynamic shell, and the guy with the most horsepower is going to be the guy that wins the race if he's smart enough? I mean, you saw the Toyotas, you saw the Hendrick cars, you know more about Hendrick, I guess, than anybody else does.
Right, and qualifying, oh yeah, power. Race, a little different. Daytona especially. If this was Talladega, then we might make a more general assumption of that. Race, because what you just said, they bounce, they move, and if you have a ton of horsepower but yet you don't have your foot on the accelerator, that engine's, so you got to stay wide open and be able to drive it. So that brings in an element at Daytona that you don't have at Talladega.
Is the car tomorrow fun to work with because it's different, or frustrating? Or last year we heard a lot of complaints, and I thought it was because you guys were working on one car one day, another car the other day. What's it like just having the car tomorrow? Because it's sort of an awkward car. I mean, it's like a whole different creature.
It's fine by me. I mean, it's fine to work on. It doesn't matter what they give us, we're gonna make it go. If NASCAR told us to race, your camera, we'd figure out a way to do it. So,
Crew Chief Bootie Barker for the Joe Custer, Gene Haas team, working with driver Scott Riggs. 37, needs to make something happen. Will he make it happen? We'll see in this year's Daytona 500. Mike Mulhern for the Winston-Salem Journal and JournalNow.com.